We live in strange times. I never thought I'd see, for example, a Melbourne Cup where the horses outnumbered the drunken Sheilas falling over each other in the mud, and I never thought I would see an attempted political coup in the greatest democracy on earth, the USA. Yet increasingly, that is what it is looking like. President Donald Trump spoke this morning and claimed that the vote is being stolen in a potentially illegal and rigged election.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. We want an honest election, we want an honest count, and we want honest people working back there because it's a very important job.
Meanwhile, Joe Biden has turned into the Potemkin president, attempting to portray a calm and presidential facade behind which is his rotten socialist policy platform.
It is the will of the voters, no one, not anything else, that chooses the President of the United States of America. So, each ballot must be counted.
So Joe Biden is insisting each ballot must be counted, but Donald Trump is insisting every legal vote be counted. It's a critical distinction. By definition, the Biden camp is implying that illegal ballots count too. Hardly the basis on which to build your presidency. Remember, there is no objective measure of votes. There is only factual data. In theory, you should be able to count all the legitimate votes across the country again and again and again and come up with pretty much the exact same number each time. If, however, corruption and fraud do exist, if people then shrug and go, oh, well, what does it matter? Everyone does it. What's a few dodgy ballots here or there? Then the entire underpinning of that democracy fractures. Corruption begets more and more corruption. Democracy relies not only upon the rule of law, but also transparency surrounding and verification of the rule of law. Now, is Donald Trump simply a sore loser, as many are complaining, incapable of accepting that the voters have chosen someone else? No. The simple reality is that under the cover of COVID, many Democratic states allowed numerous new measures around mail voting, which Donald Trump was warning months ago, opened the possibility of widespread fraud, should people be so inclined to cheat. And let's not forget that the likes of Black Lives Matter and Antifa openly declare their hostility to democracy and to Donald Trump, and they believe they are oppressed by an illegal white patriarchy, so it's not hard to believe that they would feel it their moral obligation in their warped universe to corrupt the vote and to cheat. Since election night, when in an abrupt turnaround, Trump went from clearly winning, you will recall Graham Richardson, my mate, who will join us in a second, conceded Trump had won. He knows what he's talking about. Overnight, then, it all seemed to change, and suddenly Biden was, and still remains, favoured to win. Now, I love a conspiracy theory as much as the next person, and of course there may well be innocent explanations for many of the perceived oddities and abnormalities that have occurred. But still, there's this coincidence, for example, of the mysteriously vertical blue lines, where not once but twice, simultaneously, in the dead of night, in two key states, Biden's vote mysteriously jumps straight up, a statistical improbability to say the least. Or this screen grab, which went viral, purportedly showing over 130,000 Biden votes instantaneously appearing in a computer entry with 0 votes for any other candidates. Or the 23,277 votes in Philadelphia, which were all, every single one of them, for Biden. Or this screen grab about Wisconsin, which shows on the left the rules that absentee votes must be delivered by 9 p.m. to be valid, and the ballots allegedly being delivered at 4 a.m. the following morning. And don't forget, back in September, it was confirmed by the US Attorney's Office that mail-in ballots from the military serving overseas were found in a trash bin in Pennsylvania, all of them for Trump. And there is also footage where we apparently see Black Lives Matter supporters in the counting room cheering at Republican scrutineers as they're marched out of the counting station. There have also been any number of revelations of dead people voting. Ultimately, the courts and only the courts can determine if fraud has taken place. But unfortunately, there are so many suspicious activities surrounding this vote that it is not only likely but desirable that it be settled in the courts. Here's just a quick compilation.
My worry is this early mail-in voting. I've seen postal voting, the British equivalent of this, abused wholesale in the United Kingdom to the advantage of the left.
And what were you told?
To separate them today so they could mark them with yesterday's date and send them through the express system to wherever they needed to go.
This appears to be an attempt to circumvent Michigan law and allow late votes. And you said there was a hamper where letter carriers were supposed to leave their ballots. Where are the ballots now?
They were putting them into express bags to go to the distribution center.
Are you guys collecting ballots?
Yeah.
I thought they collected them all. I just want to document.
No, we're still collecting.
How much? Wait, but how come they already called the state?
Because these are mail-in ballots.
Are there a ton in there?
Yeah.
We're missing various parts of the equation to know definitively where things are going, and that... Whoa. All right, hold on a second. No. Look, Joe Biden just took the lead in Wisconsin. Right. We're getting new information. So let's start with this baseline. Before this information dump came in, Donald Trump was up by 109,000 votes. Now, Joe Biden is up by 11,381.
We are working with the counties to make sure that they have properly put their stuff into their system and uploaded. As like many of y'all during this election cycle, they are tired. Sometimes they're going to forget to press the upload buttons.
I think all the polling places were closed. And yet we have a box.
Your boss told you and your colleagues something that shocked you this morning. What was it?
We were issued a directive this morning to collect any ballots we find in mailboxes, collection boxes, just outgoing mail in general, separate them at the end of the day so that they could hand stamp them with the previous day's date. Today is November 4th, for clarification.
I don't know how you evaluate a judge's order. It is crystal clear. Take down the barricades and let the people of the legal authority to go inside and observe this process to take place to do so.
They were ready to shut down the precinct. They had counted all the ballots. Everything was good. Everything went smoothly. And then it was at about 4 a.m. that 3 vehicles arrived, a van, a Chrysler 300, and a Ferrari with 130,000 plus ballots. He said he was astonished as they started counting the ballots. He was astonished that every single ballot, like literally 100% of that 130,000 ballots were all Biden ballots.
And got a little bit, I guess you can say assertive or aggressive is the word, so to speak. And the question was asked at 1:30 in the morning, why are you here? And our response was, well, it's election night. That's why we're here, and you guys are obviously counting ballots.
We were supposed to be allowed by law to observe the counting of the ballots. Now, observe means, to any intelligent person, being able to look at it. Observe means to be able to look. Not a single Republican has been able to look at any one of these mail ballots. They could be from Mars, as far as we're concerned, or they could be from the Democratic National Committee.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Yes, Joe Biden did in fact say that. And if it weren't so serious, all this would be highly amusing. And indeed, the wags have had their fun, with one commenting, if Latinos turned out for Trump in record numbers, Biden can be consoled by the fact that dead people seem to have turned out in record numbers for him. Or as another wag said, are they distinguishing between votes for Trump and votes with Trump? Personally, I believe there are simply too many valid question marks over this election. This is an election like no other, and the ramifications for the world are, well, terrifying. The truth of who won and who lost is out there, but it is critical that we find it.